everyone, it's Elvis X here, welcoming you to another anime review. And I've been taking a hiatus from these almost 2 years, even though I said I wanted to do these more often. Anyway, this one is a review for Dragon Ball Z Resurrection Frieza, the movie. First of all, yes, there is gameplay of Dead or Alive in the background, mainly because I would do my whole thing on the camera, but let's be honest, that's a piece of shit that's not even worth it. Pretty sure anyone can agree. The audio was getting terrible. The visual quality wasn't much better. In fact, it might have been worse. And if I'm just going to be bitching or moaning about something, then you don't really need to see my face to do all that. Well, anyways, let's get this started. Dragon Ball Z Resurrection Frieza is probably one of the best DBZ movies I've seen. And yes, I know a lot of people have mixed opinions on it, but I actually really enjoyed it. So, to start with, the movie opens up and we see Frieza experiencing his own personal hell, which is actually kind of a hilarious scene. It then switches over to where we see the remnants of his empire as they're trying to maintain their grip on the Outer Rim. Star Wars reference. Anyway, and they realize they're going to need Frieza back to life if they want to maintain their control of the galaxy. It's when that they concoct a plan to go to Earth and use their Dragon Balls to revive Frieza. Which, yes, I'm aware people are saying that wouldn't be possible because the Dragon Balls claim that you can only revive someone after or before a year has expired since they've been dead. However, according to one of the prequel mangas for the film, it's explained that Dende strengthened the Dragon Balls in that time span to actually get past that limitation. So, yeah, it might be a little bullshit that he didn't do that sooner, but whatever. Anyway, moving on from that, so they go to Earth, and pretty much to say, I'm going to shorten it, they find the Dragon Balls and resurrect Frieza. Again, you really need to watch it yourself, because it really is kick-ass. Afterwards, Frieza more or less declares that he's going to take his vengeance on the Saiyans. However, after hearing about Goku's exploits against Majin Buu and other villains, he realizes he's going to need to train furiously and vigorously. And he says he can catch up to Goku's level and even beyond that in under 4 months. Because he's never trained a day in his life before. Okay, that seems a little bullshit, but whatever. We'll just go with it. It's DBZ logic. Anyway, we then cut to a 6-month time skip where the Z Fighters hear about Frieza's arrival and are all prepping to show up and fight. And this actually leads to what is probably one of the best fight scenes in Dragon Ball Z history. And no, I'm not fucking around. I'm being dead fucking serious. This fight is epic. You have all the old style DBZ fighters getting a spot to shine. What I mean is, the ones that show up to fight Frieza and his henchmen are Piccolo, Tien, Krillin, Master Roshi, Gohan, and newcomer to the franchise, Jocko. Jocko is a galactic patrolman, and apparently he's a longtime friend of Bulma, but what I don't understand is they just throw this at you expecting you to understand who he is. I know I probably said that redundantly, but you get the idea. He shows up, Bulma instantly recognizes him, but we sure as fuck don't. Wish there was a little exposition there, personally. Moving on from that, though, more or less, the fight starts, and it's really kick-ass. I'm not going to say much more than that. If you're wondering why Goku and Vegeta aren't there quite yet, because they're training off on a distant planet with Whis. After all, this does take place a year or so after the Battle of Gods film. And yeah, it's one of those movies where it does require you to watch the first film and have a lot of prior knowledge of DBZ to get into, so I know a lot of people might be irritated by that. Moving on, though, from the story, if you're wondering, yes, you do get a very epic rematch between Goku and Frieza. And it's bittersweet to watch that shit. Next on the list to discuss, the animation. Personally, I thought the animation was fantastic. I know there are some instances when the CG gets a little out of hand, and some people get irritated by that. But it's not enough to bring the whole movie down, in my opinion. You know, it's only a handful of scenes. So, animation gets a plus. Next on the agenda to discuss, the soundtrack. Holy shit, the soundtrack is fucking awesome. Especially when they got the song Frieza No F by Maximum de Hormone as Frieza's official theme in this movie. Every time I watch the film and hear that song with Frieza doing something on screen, it really sends chills up my spine. It's fucking awesome. The rest of the songs are actually really kick-ass too and go with, you know, the whole theme of the movie. So, again, soundtracks and all the sound effects and everything are really done well. They get a plus. Next is the dubbing quality. Again, I'm not a big fan of subtitled animes. Anyone who knows me will actually know this very well. But I mainly prefer dubs. So, yeah, Resurrection F's dub is probably the best DBZ dubbed thing to date. And trust me, I say this knowing full well every type of dub DBZ's had. I've seen even the shit Malaysian dub, and I grew up with the Ocean dub as well. The actors really brought their A game to this. Every voice actor spoke their lines perfectly. There wasn't a single breath that was spoken wrong, in my opinion, or done incorrectly. Even characters with one or two lines felt like they were said believably. Especially Frieza. The actor who played him really brought the best that he could to the table in this film. Fucking amazing. So, in conclusion, this movie, fucking awesome. I give the Dragon Ball Z Resurrection Frieza a 9 out of 10. On the positive side, it's got really good animation, fantastic soundtrack, and an amazing dub cast. The fight scenes are really memorable and some of the best that you'll probably ever see in DBZ period. And let's be honest, Jocko is new, and we don't know much about him, but from what we do know, he's a pretty kick-ass and likable character. On the negative side, there's not much exposition explaining, you know, how the Z-Fighters even know Jocko. In fact, none of them do. The only one is Bulma, and we don't know how they met. Maybe that'll get explained some other time. One of the other things I might have not mentioned earlier is the fact that Majin Buu isn't there. They explain why the other Z-Fighters didn't come to the fight. But Majin Buu, they only explain this in the prequel manga. They don't even explain this in the film. If anyone's wondering, it's mainly because, supposedly, every few years or so, Buu has to go into a hibernative state to maintain the great power of his or some shit. I don't know. But again, they didn't explain it in the movie, and it really just comes across as they forgot. You know, the whole Toriyama forgetting thing again. And lastly, the CG does get a little out of hand, and yeah, I'm not going to spoil the ending. It left us all satisfied, but it could have been a little better. You'll have to see it for yourself to watch it. Overall, though, none of these negatives, which most of which are nitpicks at that point, really bring the film down. It's a really fantastic film, and it feels like a feature. And honestly, it's a good way to say goodbye to DBZ and make way for Dragon Ball Super. Think about it. We got all the DBZ characters from the original days, such as Tien, Krillin, Master Roshi, Piccolo, Gohan, standing up one more time against Frieza and getting one more shot in the spotlight. Which then, you know, it leads against one of the greatest villains in DBZ history. Frieza is still my favorite villain. Not gonna say anything like anyone else. I loved Cell. Cell was pretty kick-ass. It was okay too, but Frieza, he really just came across as an evil bastard at times. So yeah, one final showdown against him was a great way to bring Z to a close. And I'm aware Super is doing a retelling of this movie, which might discourage some people from watching it, but that doesn't matter. You should really watch this film anyways. It's a really great movie. Anyways, I'm Elvis X from the Empire X Gaming community. Thank you for watching this, and, comment below. Let me know your experience with the movie, what you thought of it. Hell, let me know what your favorite DBZ movie is. Personally, mine is still Battle of Gods, but this is probably a close second. It's a great film. And if there's any anime you want me to review, or any movie you'd like to recommend to me to review, leave a comment below. But alright guys, guess that's about it. Until next time.